It's November 17th, and we continue our journey through the prophecies of Ezekiel, in Hebrew Yechezkel, meaning the Lord strengthens, and we're reading today chapters 35 and 36. Chapter 35 is a shorter chapter. It's an oracle, a warning against Edom. Edom is the people down to the southeast of the Dead Sea. There's been a long feud, a long history of enmity between Edom and Judah and Israel. Edom represents Esau, the older brother of Jacob, and there's been this constant warfare going on between them. But now that Judah has been displaced and now that Judah has been defeated, it seems that Edom has designs on Judah's territory and on Israel's territory. And this word is against them and saying that Edom, you're going to be judged, you're going to be ruined because you've had contempt for Israel and because you've sought to take their territory. And actually God says that this territory will not belong to you. It will never be yours. And although you say there's a claim on the hills, God is going to turn the tables on them, and actually they're the ones who are going to lie in ruins, and they're the ones that the nations are going to gloat over, and the Lord will be known as the one who's done this. And then in chapter 36 there's a word to speak to the hills of Judah, where the last chapter was speaking to Mount Seir, the mountains of Edom. This is spoken to the mountains of Judah, and it says the enemy said, referring to these words of Edom, the enemy said, "You're going to be mine," but the prophet says, actually, Edom has been judged in her plans, and she will not take you. Instead, Judah is going to have its people restored, and Jerusalem is going to be rebuilt. The people are going to till the land again. There's going to be ploughing. There's going to be a restoration, and it will be tilled, it will be sown, and it will be fruitful. In fact, a homecoming is near. The cities are going to be lived in and prosperous, and it's going to give a lie to the saying that there's been that says this land eats its inhabitants. This land consumes its own inhabitants, but that will not be said again, because this land is going to be fruitful, and the inhabitants instead will eat of the land, and there won't be a reproach anymore. And then from verses 16 and 17 of verse 36, the theme changes, or the theme continues and develops, where God is saying, I will do this for the sake of my name. Israel and Judah have defiled the name of God. They were defiled the land, and God is going to sanctify it again. He's going to make it holy. In fact, he's going to vindicate his name. And there's a place here where Ezekiel says that the Lord declares that he will hallow his name. He will make his name holy. He will sanctify his name. And there are obviously echoes here, or looking forward to Jesus coming, and in the prayer that we pray to our Father, him saying, the first thing he says is, your name be sanctified. And looking here, we see this promise that God will sanctify his name. And he's going to do this by bringing back a holy people, by bringing back a people who will listen to him, by bringing back a people who will live in his ways, by people who will keep to his directions. And Israel is going to be fruitful. And part of the way this is going to happen is because God is going to create a new heart. It says he will take away their heart of stone, and it will give them instead a heart of flesh, a clean heart, a new heart. There's very much this theme of the new thing that happens as God promises with his restoration. They will follow his heart, and they will follow his ways. And then at the end of chapter 36, there's a promise that Jerusalem itself will be rebuilt, its palaces will be rebuilt, it will be cultivated. In fact, it will become like Eden. It will become like the paradise that God first placed man in. And this will be to the praise of God's name. This again is part of the sanctification, part of the making holy, making unrivaled the name of God. And God will act for Israel. And he says, maybe thinking back again to the word to the shepherds in chapter 34, God says that men will be as numerous as sheep, that the land will be filled with men as numerous as sheep, and the ruined cities will be filled with the flock of God. This is amazing promises that God has, particularly this promise of a new heart, taking away a heart of stone, giving a heart of flesh. And when we have a soft heart, when we have a tender heart towards God, when we're not protected, when we're not crusted over, we have that possibility of relationship and connection with God, which gives us so much meaning in life, which makes us fully human. Let's constantly be checking our heart, guarding our heart, making sure it's tender and a heart of flesh towards God, so that we constantly have that heart-to-heart connection with him. Have a very good November 17th.